when it comes to quarterbacks, P, obviously everybody loves the early round guys, and I feel like that's the consensus among a lot of analysts right now is take early quarterback for whatever reason. But there's a lot of hate for the middle guys. Some guys in those middle rounds, man. Talk to me about a quarterback that you love more than consensus.
Yeah, man, this quarterback's been getting a lot of hate. My guy is Trevor Lawrence, right? Love the guy. Right now, Fantasy Pros got him as quarterback 16. You can get him right around the 120th pick, and to me, that's just insane, man. He has been on a kind of like a roller coaster for the start of his career, held in really high regard, and as of recently, just kind of been shot. Like people are hating on him so hard they got him in the dirt. But the reasons why I think he's going to bounce back and really show the potential that he has is, look, they paid my man. He's one of the highest paid quarterbacks, so he's gonna have to prove it now. But not only that, there's clearly building around T-Law. They drafted a wide receiver in the early rounds. They went out in free agency, got a wide receiver. So he still has Christian Kirk. They drafted Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis as a deep threat. Also has Evan Ingram as like a PPR machine, work in the middle, right? Not only that, his security outlet is Travis Etienne, one of the best PPR running backs in the game. So if you think about it, if you got somebody with his talent and all of these weapons around him, all of these outlets, these security blankets around him, how could you hate on that? Not only that, he has rushing upside for a QB, right? So over the course of his career, the last 3 years, averaged 300 yards rushing, and he'll give you around 3 to 4 or 5 rushing touchdowns. So for that reason, I got him finishing above the consensus. T-Law, man, don't be scared of him.
Don't be scared of him, man. He could be a player that like significantly outplays his draft spot too. We were taking this guy as a top 8 quarterback off the board last year, somehow smothered here into the late ends of your single QB leagues and in the middle of your super flex leagues, man. I like that pick a lot, man. Yeah. All right, next up for my quarterback that I have above consensus, this is kind of a, this is me getting in my bag a little bit, P. But there's a lot of hate from my guy Kirk Cousins right now for no reason. Going as the quarterback 19, dog. So I'm looking at this as like, okay, Kirk Cousins, quarterback 19. Last year when he was with Minnesota, he was a QB 24. Last season, he only played 8 games. He was the QB 24 in 8 games. And he's going as the QB 19 now. Guess what else he's doing? He's going indoors. Guess what else he's doing? He's upgrading the weapons. Last year, it was just Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson. Now, you got Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and my boy Kyle Pitts. So on a per-game basis, Kyle Pitts was the QB6 last year. QB6, man. And, at the end of the day, when I'm looking at what his potential numbers are, right? Last year, he was on pace. And this is in Minnesota. Last year, he was on pace for almost 4,800 yards and over 30 touchdowns. If we get that kind of production, he's going to be a top 10 quarterback this year. So the only concern that you really have with Kirk Cousins is the Achilles, because guess what? It's not going to affect his arm strength. It's not like he's 40. He's 35 years old, and he's staying in shape. And guess what? He's playing motivated because they just drafted another quarterback. Give me all the Kirk Cousins shares I can get in super flex leagues. And to be honest with you, I'm not even mad if you want to take him as your QB1 in single QB leagues, 12 team to be specific. So I love Kirk Cousins. Love the easy schedule. A lot of upside for Kirk Cousins going at the back end of the top 20. Insane, bruh.
That ain't bad, man. That ain't bad at all.
It's not, but we got to talk about bad, right? And so obviously talk about players we like. Let's get on to players that maybe everybody else got a little too high.
Oh, man. Let's talk about it.
A little too high. Talk about it, P. Who's fading at their ADP right now against the consensus rankings?
Yo, I may catch some hate for this, but hey, man, bring it, man, because I got to give the facts. Hey, the one I'm fading at his ADP is CJ Stroud. Yo, everybody loves this dude. Real life football, I love him too, right? But right now, if you want to get CJ Stroud, you got to draft him at the QB5 spot. So to me, that's just crazy. For you to be the QB5 and have 0 rushing upside, you have to be flawless. And yeah, they gave him weapons, right? They gave him Diggs. They gave him Diggs. He got a new running back as well. But now the way I see it is his rookie year, they're finding out what they got. They kind of let him cook. And I do think he's going to build upon that. But another reason why I don't think he's going to hit that QB5 ranking is the additions on defense as well as the running game. You have to figure that this team is in contention for a playoff run. So what that means is if you got a stronger defense, that means you can rely on the run. That means you're going to be getting more takeaways. You're probably going to be playing ahead opposed to all of these shootouts that you were having in the past. So I don't think that he's going to fulfill that QB5 spot, especially again with zero rushing upside. I really think that they're going to play a little bit more conservative. Even if he does have, let's say 4,500 yards and let's say 29, 30 touchdowns. With the fact that you're not putting up anything on the ground, there are going to be players that are passing you up. For example, QBs that I would draft ahead of him, Kyler, Dak, A-Rich, all of these players you can get past him that I can almost guarantee you that are going to be putting up more points on a points per game basis because they're cooking, rushing upside for specifically A-Rich and Kyler. And yeah, so if you're reaching on him, it may not be the best bet here for you.
He only had 4,100 yards last year, and everybody's acting like he did 5,000. He was the QB 11 last year, and they act like he was top 10. He didn't make the top 10. And I know it was, he missed a couple games, but, I think the one thing, too, when it comes to Stroud is you talk about, average depth of target. That's a stat everybody loves, but they won't use it in the right way. CJ Stroud had the third highest average depth per target. And guess what? You bring in Stephon Diggs, that number's going to come down.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
We ain't got to throw the bombs all game now. So good points there, my man.
Mm-hmm.
Another player that is going a little higher than I think he should. And this is going to be debatable. P, you guys probably got the same fingernail polish on, is Caleb Williams.
Hey, don't put no spot on my name, man. Don't put no spot on my name, man. You know what time it is.
He got the fingernails, but he's a baller, though. First pick overall, Caleb Williams for the Chicago Bears. And listen, I know he's been flashing in preseason. We've seen a no-look pass or over his shoulder, whatever the hell it was, to DeAndre Swift. We've seen a rollout to the left, throw 40 yards downfield. And I get it. It's going to look good on camera because we know the talent that he has. But oftentimes it takes rookies a minute. We're all excited about what CJ Stroud did. And I just mentioned how he finishes the top. He was the QB 11, and he outplayed everybody's expectations. What did Bryce Young do last year? What did he do last year? What did Trevor Lawrence do his rookie year? A lot of rookie quarterbacks the best rookie quarterbacks, sometimes they come in and struggle. Sometimes they need a little adjustment. And when you go to a city like Chicago where, let's be frank, this team hasn't had a 4,000-yard passer yet, I think we're putting the bar really high for a guy in Caleb Williams because he looks good on tape. There was times where he was struggling during his senior season at USC. And so I get it. At this point, the setup is there, right? The setup is there for Caleb. When you talk about Keenan Allen, Romo Dunze in the first round, you got DJ Moore obviously there from last year. You go get DeAndre Swift this offseason. The setup is there. But listen, we got to let these guys develop. There's going to be tape on Caleb Williams at some point. Defenses will adjust. He will have to adjust to the NFL game. So I get what preseason is. I get what your expectations are. Fuck your expectations. There's other quarterbacks going behind him that have already been there. Tua's already been there. He led the league in passing. He's going after him. Trevor Lawrence is going after him. This is a guy we crowned the exact same way just a few years ago. Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins. Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins, both of these guys have been in the top 12 in recent years. Kirk Cousins being in the top 10 however many times. And you're taking Caleb Williams over him for maybe a little bit of upside that doesn't even involve rushing. You're going too early with Caleb Williams. I get the love. I get it. He's number one pick, but he's going way too early. I'm out on Caleb Williams.
Yeah. Especially not to mention, man, one thing that you didn't mention is when it comes to the later on in the season, man, them Chicago winners, they ain't pretty, bro. They ain't pretty. They are not pretty.
Snowy days up in there, but